Resident Evil Reverse has finally been released after over a year and a half following the release of Resident Evil Village. Reverse comes bundled with the 8th numbered installment of the horror franchise, much like how Resident Evil Resistance came alongside the RE3 remake. Reverse is a free-for-all deathmatch shooter where you play as one of 6 characters from the series. Legacy characters from the early games are present with both Redfield's Chris and Claire, Jill Valentine, Leon S. Kennedy, Ada Wong, and the Grim Reaper Hunk. Each character comes equipped with a standard infinite ammo firearm and a unique weapon with a limited stock. Characters also have 2 skills that can be activated, after which have a cooldown, and characters also possess a passive skill. This manages to make characters feel quite unique and lends itself to different playstyles depending on your selected character. For example, Leon can do a lot of damage in close range being armed with a shotgun and using a powerful roundhouse kick skill to stagger enemies, knocking them back and setting them up for a kill. His other ability allows him to dual-wield handguns for quick burst damage, which is a great option when fighting at longer ranges or when it becomes disadvantageous to risk reloading the shotgun. Leon's passive lets him heal slightly when in critical health, which can be the difference between winning and losing a tense engagement. Miss Valentine can utilise a landmine, giving her the ability to control choke points and force enemies into more favourable positions for her. Her hot dogger knife deals a lot of damage and can cause a stagger if she finds herself in close quarters combat. She also has better options than Leon at range with her assault rifle, which can then be further supplemented with her passive skill. She gets a damage boost after dodging, which is useful to help secure a kill at the cost of some of your very precious stamina. Stamina is a huge factor in Reverse. All characters have access to a dodge roll at the cost of 1 bar of your stamina wheel. It covers distance, though you can still take damage during a dodge, albeit at a reduced rate. It's better used to break line of sight or to juke other players coming in for a kill, since gunfights can be intense skirmishes that depend heavily on positioning. Matches are 5 minutes in length, which helps add to tense firefight moments as each kill and death grants and subtracts from your score respectively. Naturally, accumulating multiple kills will net you a kill streak, supplementing your score with higher numbers. Upon death, however, your kill streak is paused and a new streak begins. You are able to retain your lost kill streak by getting revenge on your slayer. Because of this, matches can turn into mad scrambles when time is running low, and with a couple of good plays, someone at the bottom of the scoreboard can rapidly find themselves in the top 3, or even outright winning. This is where the major gimmick of Reverse comes into play. When killed, you'll transform into a BOW and be given the opportunity to earn more kills and get revenge on your killer. From the get-go, any death will see you transform into the fat moulded enemies from RE7. Despite their size, they can move around pretty quickly when enraged, and any damage they deal or take will store energy. You can then use that energy to self-destruct and take down other players. Since the moulded explode when defeated anyway, it's usually best not to be next to one when one goes down. The moulded isn't the only creature you get to come back as. If you collect a virus sample when playing as a human, you'll not only get a damage boost as a human, but your transformation upon death will also change. One capsule will see you change into either a Gamma-type Hunter from Resident Evil 3 Remake, or Jack Baker, whom terrorized players in RE7, complete with his scissor-style chainsaw. 2 capsules, which is the maximum, will transform you into either Super Tyrant from RE2 Remake or the rocket launcher wielding Nemesis. Your transformation is a coin flip, and each creature has enough to differentiate them from one another, aside from spammable melee options at close range, that always seems to favour whichever creature is of a higher level. There are advantages and disadvantages of each creature, and the ones that require a virus capsule all have a skill with a built-in execution property. Using this skill on a low health human player will play out a finisher animation and render you invulnerable during it. The Hunter uses their gaping maw to devour. Jack lovingly welcomes players to the family the only way he knows how.
You're part of the family now.
Tyrant charges with the most brutal of uppercuts. And Nemesis puts his foot down. Knowing when to utilise these finishers is key, as you won't have any idea how much HP a player has or whether they've been damaged previously. All skill attacks use up energy which refills after a time with no energy spent. Creatures also retain the ability to see where all other players are, and through walls, allowing you to plan creative ambushes and to use your limited creature time as best as possible. That's right, your time as a creature comes to an end if dealt enough damage naturally, but your HP as a creature also depletes over time to the point where any attack will get the job done. Getting multiple kills when you're only a single hit away from death is very tense and where Reverse can feel at its best. The virus capsules are not the only collectibles in the maps though. Green herbs provide instant healing, ammo boxes to replenish unique weapon reserves, and special weapons can also spawn around the map, ranging from grenade launchers to rockets and the spark shot, which works a little differently to its main game counterpart. These weapons are powerful single-use items that can turn engagements in your favour when used correctly, and you can even make perk builds to further increase their deadliness. Character builds can be personalised utilising a coin system, wherein you buy perks using in-game currencies earned from matches. These perks range from weapon, damage, and health increases which all characters share, to more specific perks unique to your character of choice. This can be reducing cooldowns or increasing range of certain skills, or increasing the effectiveness of your passive. Coins can also be assigned to creature builds too, in order to give you an edge when fighting in a transformed state. One of the game's many problems, however, rears its ugly head here. Whilst most of these coins are purchased using in-game currencies, some of these coins are rewards as part of a free battle pass. How long this battle pass will be available remains to be seen, but it's not a good sign that gameplay advantages are part of a pass in the first place, even if it is free. The battle pass seems to be here to stay, however, as future updates announced include additional levels to the existing pass as opposed to a new pass entirely. As for the premium pass, the rewards are all cosmetic in nature, and it's up to each player to decide if what's on offer is worth the money, especially since this game's player base has already rapidly dropped. And herein lies the core issues with Resident Evil Reverse. With further updates planned but no specific date, what is currently in the game isn't simply enough to keep players engaged. Launching with 6 characters, 5 creatures, 2 stages, and only one game mode means you won't be playing long before you've seen all the game has to offer. The RPD and Baker House are fun stages, but with only one more initially announced and a 6th creature seemingly not being implemented until the 3rd update, it's quite disappointing to see, particularly when this game had a lot of extra time. Village came out in May of 2021, and we've known about Reverse for as long. These new updates need to be incredible and need to come quick to keep players engaged. Not having the game sold separately and not being enough attention on balancing was the final nail in the coffin that was Resident Evil Resistance. Another game that was flawed but had an incredible potential and great ideas. With all the assets in Resistance already, it actually seems shocking that we won't be getting another creature until much later. William Birkin would be a nice fit in this game alongside some zombies, not to mention the many alternate costumes that Jill has access to in that title. Balance is also an issue here, though it feels like a few numbers changed here and there would fix things. Ada's crossbow, for example, can do ridiculous amounts of damage, and her coins even supplement this. Her passive lets her dodge more than anyone else, which can lead to situations where it feels like you really need to catch her off guard in order to beat her. Chris, meanwhile, can outright ignore dying to win fights with proper use of his Indomitable skill. He can effectively bait out skills, ignore their effects, and knock you down with a punch before finishing you off, making him incredibly hard to revenge kill. Personally, my favourite character design here is Claire. Her unique weapon isn't the most powerful, but it gets the job done. Where she really excels is in her standard weapon and her skills. Claire has the Quick Draw Army, a powerful revolver that can quickly empty the entire cylinder, allowing for massive burst damage. Her alternator skill can trap enemies in place long enough to empty the gun into them, and her passive ability lets her instantly reload her 6-shooter during a dodge, so long as she has it equipped, bypassing an otherwise lengthy process. To balance this, Claire has only 2 stamina segments as opposed to everyone else's 3, but her other skill, Adrenaline Shot, gives her a little bit of healing and some stamina recovery. For me personally, she feels like the most complete and well-designed character, although you can tell a lot of care has been put into making every character feel like their mainline game counterparts. All in all, Resident Evil Reverse is a fun but flawed game. The netcode is questionable at times, and with limited content upon release, the game seems to be there for die-hard Resident Evil fans only. Updates will need to come quickly and be of significant value for the longevity of this game, but crossplay implementation from the start is a step in the right direction, something that Resistance could have heavily benefited from. If you're an achievement hunter, I'd jump on this quick while it's still new, as it shouldn't take too long to get them all. Despite its flaws though, Reverse offers a fun gameplay experience. Matches are fast-paced and intense, with each character feeling different and viable. Unique death and scoring mechanics make moment-to-moment gameplay feel exhilarating and tense, and complements to the sound design in this game, which is honestly incredible, particularly on some of the handguns. If I was in the business of scoring games, I'd give this a 6 out of 10. The gameplay is fun, the core ideas are well implemented, the game controls are excellent and customizable, and the visual and sound design is great, even though I opted to turn off the comic filter. What lets the game down, however, is the lack of content. I'll reiterate, but 2 stages and 1 game mode is unacceptable, particularly when the game had been delayed for over a year. I didn't enjoy the first beta a year ago, but I can feel the polish implemented since then, and this game does have potential. Right now though, it's a novelty. A very fun one, but a novelty nonetheless. Okay, thank you for watching the review. This is the first review I've done on the channel, so this is different from my regular viewers, as more or less all of my videos are For Honor related. And for any newcomers, thanks for checking out the video. I'm using different editing software for this video, so I'd appreciate any feedback. I'm looking at expanding the content of this channel into other avenues. Resident Evil is one of my favourite franchises, and I'd like to make content on the games, and potentially do challenge-style runs. Anyhow, I think I've said all I need to. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Let me know what you think about Resident Evil Reverse in the comments. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe as it really helps me out, and I will see you all in the next video. Ciao for now.
Welcome to the family.